I want to be really clear about something. I don't care if the president is a convicted felon. I don't even care if the president is in prison. Now, make no mistake, I will be ashamed if the president is in prison, but not of my support for him, not of my vote for him, not even of him. I will be ashamed of the state of this great nation, which is pretty much where I'm at right now. But it's been interesting watching the neocons and the Democrats and the talking heads repeat over and over, like the petrified zombies that they are, guilty, 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 convicted felon, convicted felon, convicted felon, as if that is supposed to induce some kind of shame in me, in us, his supporters. No, the only shame here is yours. This is not an indictment on Donald Trump. It's not an indictment on his supporters. It's not even an indictment on the GOP, which frankly, I'm generally not a fan of. This is an indictment on the New York justice system and also on the current state of what was at one point, and maybe still is, the greatest nation that the world has ever known. So if you have some type of problem with the president, and make no mistake, Donald J. Trump is the 47th president of the United States of America. If you have some type of problem with the president being a convicted felon, with your president being in prison, then look to the people who made all this happen, because it wasn't him, it wasn't me, it wasn't his supporters. It's the people who put party over country. It's the people who for almost a decade now have put their hatred of a man, a mere man, over their love of this country. It has been lie after lie after lie after lie. And one of the reasons I'm so passionate about this is that for about 5 years, I bought those lies. Y'all had me. I hated this man. I thought he was Hitler. And then 4 years ago, spring, summer 2020, I was bewildered by the response to COVID. I was angry about the response to COVID, especially in LA County. And I was wondering why I couldn't go to work, why I couldn't visit my family, but other people could go out and riot and loot on behalf of a criminal who frankly didn't know or care whether I lived or died. He wouldn't have been rioting had I died. But we went out and caused LA to have a nightly curfew on top of a lockdown. And so there I was in spring, summer 2020. And a lot of people forget this, but Donald Trump at the time was seemingly, to me, someone wholly uninitiated to politics at the time, seemingly the only leading voice even talking about opening the states, opening the country. And I hated this man. But I put aside the hatred for like a little bit just to dip my toe in the water to do a little bit of research, because that's how much I hated the response to COVID. That's how much the response to COVID made no sense whatsoever, especially in LA County, because we went above and beyond. So I put aside my hatred for just a little bit to do a little bit of research, and I realized how much I'd been lied to. And it was this slow unraveling of lie after lie after lie after lie after lie. Joe Biden launched his 2020 campaign on a lie that was at that point 2 to 3 years old. The lie that Donald Trump said there's very fine people on both sides, including the Nazis. And I believed that. In 2020, early 2020, I would have sworn up and down that that's what Donald Trump had said. So imagine my surprise when I go and finally watch the full press conference and realize that's not what he said. And in fact, in that press conference, he condemns the white nationalists not once, but twice. And then you can go on YouTube. There's compilation after compilation of Donald Trump over the years condemning white supremacy over and over and over again. Yet in 2020, Kamala Harris was still telling us that Donald Trump refused to condemn white supremacy. That's just two of the lies. It's been lie after lie after lie. What I realized is that almost every viral story about this man, especially as someone uninitiated in politics at the time who didn't read past the headlines, almost every viral thing that I had heard about this man was an absolute lie. And if Donald Trump were as bad as they still say he is, if he were Hitler, they wouldn't have to lie about him. They wouldn't have to snip things. They wouldn't have to cut things just so. They wouldn't have to write misleading headlines. They wouldn't have to bury the lead and not tell you the whole story. They wouldn't have to purposefully misinterpret and misunderstand what he says. The evil would just be there and we would be able to see it. They could speak the truth and trust us to see the evil for ourselves, but it's not there. That's why they have to lie. And I want to make one more thing clear. We are not going anywhere. This is not about a man. I know y'all think we're in a cult and we think he's God. We don't. Donald Trump will leave this earth someday. And if y'all have your way, it'll be in prison. But this is about more than a man. This is about a movement. And it'll live on long after him. And in fact, you all are the ones who, by your obsession with him, made him a legend. And legends live longer than men. But again, this isn't about him. It's about a movement. And we will be here still. Our kids will be here still. Our grandchildren will be here still. We're not going anywhere. Even if you put him in prison, even if you make sure he can't be elected, even if you, however you get rid of him, we will still be here. And this is our country.